warning the people, God cried out, "Hear, O earth, behold, I will certainly bring calamity on these people, the fruit of their thoughts, because they have not heeded my words nor my law, but rejected it." Let's speak about this clarity that God brings about the fruit of our thoughts. Jeremiah chapter 6 verse 19 is warning the people that because of their persistent, malicious way of thinking, completely contrary to the words of God, all that people thought would happen, all evil that they plotted would be materialized in their lives. At first, when you read this word, you think God will punish the people. No, this is not what he's saying. He's saying, I will certainly bring calamity on these people, the fruit of their thoughts. In other words, the people had conceived evil to themselves. If you read the whole chapter, you see that God was trying to lead the people to let go of evil so that the worst may not happen to them. God doesn't want to do evil, but good to the people. But as the people insisted on having and producing bad thoughts and rejecting the words of God, which are God's thoughts, then God was saying, these bad thoughts you harbor in your mind will bear fruit. And there's nothing else I can do. I cannot impede them. So let's talk about this, the fruit of your own thoughts. Because thoughts are particles that form our actions, feelings, habits, behaviors, decisions. Anyway, everything in our lives, in their roots, they begin with thoughts. Then we decide, we act upon them. If my thoughts are evil, corrupted, malicious, contaminated, certainly as a chef, they use rotten products, as good of a chef they might be, the meal will be rotten. Any chef knows that the secret for any kitchen in the world is the product. One of the good secrets of life is for you to choose good thoughts, so that out of good thoughts you may make good decisions and choices, and so on and so forth. God warns the people that the fruit of their thoughts would be materialized and they would be destroyed, warning these people to open their vision and reject bad thoughts and to start to embrace His thoughts, His words, His law. He said, "They have not heeded my words nor my law, but rejected it." This happened in the days of Jeremiah and still happens. This is humanity's history. To hear God's word and to say, it's not like that. I think I have a better idea. This is humanity's history, from Adam and Eve until today, and it will be until the end of times. Humans listening to God and saying, I think I have a better and different opinion than His, and reaping the fruits of these thoughts. This is the story of humanity and of many people. They listen to good and they choose evil, They listen to the advice of someone who is more capable than them, but they think they know better. Whether their parents, a doctor, someone at work, a teacher. The person has no experience of whatsoever, but they think they know better than the one that is trying to teach them. It is the arrogance of human beings. It's the foolishness from humans. Because if you think, I will not even speak about faith. Let's talk about science, technology, society, human terms. If human beings made the most of the lessons of their previous generations, the children learning from their parents, who learned from their parents, who learned from their parents, and so on and so forth. So each generation would be better than the previous one. Do you agree with me? Each generation would be better because the following generation humbly would say, I won't make the mistakes of my parents. They told me that it didn't work, so I won't make them. But this is not what we see. We even see this in science or technology, because the cars of today are way more advanced than the ones from the 60s, 70s, from the 90s, from 2000, 2010. In other words, each year cars evolve because those who work with cars learned from their antecessors. The same with medicine. Medicine is better today than 50 years ago. This is with everything in the scientific area. But in the social, behavioral area, we don't see this. What do we see in society? Marriages becoming broken, people getting more addicted, more violent, society in general. At the same time, we see science and technology and knowledge advancing. There has never been so much access to knowledge as today. At the same time, we see this advancement. Human beings recede in their behavior, in their way to live life. Why? Because they are stubborn, proud, headstrong. It's as if they had a thought that they knew better than their ancestors. And this destroys people's lives. Even destruction comes because evil thoughts end up being materialized. So what is the solution? You will fight against your thoughts. You have thoughts of anger, grudges, bad memories, memories of the wrong that your parents did against you, because nobody's perfect. You have memories of ex-friends and they became your enemies. You have bad, hard feelings about yourself. You say, I spoiled my own life. I don't know if I'll be able to recover. You carry this guilt. You have grudges against your ex-spouse, partner. You have a cauldron with bad feelings mixing in it. Depression, anger, hatred, revenge, rejection, guilt. You are angry even against God or yourself. You can look at the mirror on the street. You look at people and you have terrible thoughts about strangers because the evil thought is in you. At times you feel like throwing everything up in the air to end with everything. You feel terrible. So these evil thoughts, God is warning you. If you do nothing about these bad thoughts, if you do nothing to remove them, they will end up bearing fruits. And everything will get worse in your life. If you think that your life is bad, just wait for these bad thoughts to bear fruits. Then you will learn what is a bad life. But God says here, if you heed His words and not reject His law, then there's a way out. How do you do this? Instead of you entertaining these bad thoughts, you start to seek God's thoughts. God's thoughts. We're not talking about thoughts from someone on the internet, an influencer, but God's thoughts. You take His word, you read His word, but I don't understand. You don't understand because you never read it. I didn't understand at first too. It was all gibberish for me. But God speaks to those who are interested and have ears to hear. You should not be worried about understanding everything that is in the Bible. You should only be worried about with what you understand, because what you understand is enough for you to make decisions and change your life. When you absorb God's words, then they will cleanse you. They will wash all bad thoughts away from your thoughts. So you must read the Word of God daily, preferably in the morning, but anytime. I say in the morning because your mind is fresh. The first thought of the day being God's thoughts is the best thing you can do for your life. Read the Word of God, hear His words, bring to your memory His words. Think about these words. When you pray and speak to God, speak about His words. Say, Lord, you said this and that. I believe in this. I want this for my life. Speak to God. You listen to God, you speak to God, you think and meditate on His thoughts, and when you least expect, your evil thoughts will disappear. Like smoke, they start strong, but soon a wind blows and it disappears. The same with your thoughts. When the wind of the word comes upon your mind, but you must provoke this wind. You need to heed His words. As God said, I will certainly bring calamity on these people, the fruit of their thoughts, because they have not heeded my words nor my law, but rejected it. Wake up to this, dear friend. Treat your evil thoughts with the word, and you will start to have excellent fruits in your life. If today's video helped you and you know someone that could benefit from it, share it with them, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, you may do so now. See you later.